Hey everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and I just bought a huge collection of rare silver coins from Europe, and they arrived in the mail, so I'm super excited to open them up. Basically, I think in one hand I have like 130, 140-ish large crown-sized silver coins. In the other, I have a collection of 186 rare silver jetons made in the 1700s and potentially early 1800s. But in both cases, I cannot wait to tear these open. I have not been able to open them for a couple of days, and I'm now excited to go through. I think they'll make their way into some of my auctions in the next probably like 2 to 4 weeks. It's going to be a little while before I process them because it's going to take me a ton of time, especially on these jetons, to get the right like numbers and figure everything out. But anyways, these are some of my favorites. I feel like jetons are probably one of my strengths relative in the USA. So yeah, we're going to tear it open and then also be excited about these crown sizes. And here are the coins in front of us, and I realized a few things. First off, was not 186 jetons, it was 86 jetons. So I was wrong about that. That would be awesome to buy all that for $5,000. And then over here, we got a bunch of different 5 franc and 5 lire coins. I saw over here a French one, which was great. But I think we start with the jetons on this side. I think I was a little surprised, and I didn't see any photos or anything like that when I purchased these items. But I had unwrapped these. This will actually be a genuine hunt. I was surprised that these were often a bit more modern from the looks of it than I had thought. I think some of them are like 1800s, but I think a few of them are more like modern restrikes. So that will be an interesting kind of like research project, and I'm pumped to open those up though because there's a lot of cool stuff on there. I realized that a couple of these seem to be from like large lots from an old collection, Extraordinaire de Guerre. Basically, these jetons were made 20 agapes. Demandez également leur vin fin. So demand, I think it's equally, I don't exactly, remarkable, fine wines. It's saying like demand equally their fine wines remarkable. So it's probably some kind of like note paper from an old collection. But this Extraordinaire de Guerre, it's like French accounting tokens before they had tons of paper currency that were likely used in like, accounting in ministers of finance. I believe that that's what they're for. It's like administrative French tokens, and they have them in kind of silver. And so these are the Feuardant 840 variety. And so I looked up a little bit like what that actually means. Take a look at this. That has some nice toning. Hic posuis juvat. So often these would have like Latin inscriptions. These were going on during the War of Austrian Succession from about 1740 to 1748, where the French were allied with Prussia against Austria, and the English supported Austria to kind of weaken France. I love their old toning. But I think that what it literally means is it is pleasing to have placed something here, and you have a tree, so it could be like, whether it's stability, I'm not exactly sure what it would have shown, but kind of planning and foresight, but really beautiful toning. And that one's actually 1750. That one, is that? Yeah, I think those are 1750. Okay, it must have been, it's the other one that's 1741. But again, both of these, this would have been after that. It's right before the 7 Years' War, and that is one of the first global wars that spills over into North America. Obviously, pretty prominent for our eventual independence here. This is like one of my favorite jeton designs, and it actually, take a look at this. It has this like winged pine cone with thunderbolts coming out of it, which I feel like is one of the coolest designs I've seen. And I've bought one jeton like this before. It means like what cannot be destroyed by force. So again, military strength, featuring King Louis the 15th, who comes after his father, who was the Louis the 14th, who's the sun god. Obviously, Louis the 16th, just to place that in context. So he's going to die right around the Revolution when we declare independence. He dies, I think, 75, and then Louis the 16th is the one who gets executed in 1792. And I saw a couple of jetons of his, I think, in this batch. And so this will be fun too because these are, I think, all pretty much different. So let's start here, and 1740. So again, similar time frame. I don't have, like, I haven't opened this one up, so I don't have detail, but love that little toning, similar portrait of Louis the 15th. And then if we just march through here, okay, so here's Louis the 16th, again, 76 to 1792. Interesting cannons, kind of a Liberty look, and then this one's probably going to be one of the older ones. That's actually cool just because of purely how old it is. It looks like it's the same design as this one. I've never seen a Jeton that worn, so it must have been extensively being strewn around, being used in that accounting purpose. And I love these. These remind me of some of the Mormon coins of the early 1800s, but this one's back to 1724. And who is featured there? Oh, that's a really cool, what? 1724? I was going to say that it looked like almost a little bit older, like more modern than that. And so that is a Louis the 16th. So it could be like a later restrike of one of those items. Very interesting. Right here we have a 1773 Louis the 15th. Very nice. Duvivier on there. And that's like right towards the end of his reign. So as you can see clearly, he's going to be in a much older portrait there. And so those octagonal jetons are often older. Similar here, it's Louis the 16th, 1785, État de Bretagne. That's the state of Brittany. And those have also been extensively, there's a ton of jetons like that from earlier times that are circular. This one is one of those similar ones, 1767, that I'm going to guess is struck later on. That shows 1713, Vigilat ut Quiescent. What does that say? De Saline, the 100th, and the state of... Often those are like mayoral jetons. And then right here we have another 1740 of a similar type. Okay, I like it'll be easier for inventorying purposes, that's for sure. 1751, probably shortly after that War of Austrian Succession, Nullo Contusus Aratro. These are all Jeton, and these are all Latin. Jeton de Bretagne, 1744. Again, that's more what I'm familiar with. That one looks 1709. I feel like this does not look like... But actually, no, that's a nice older strike, I guess. It looked a little more like modern, maybe like late 1700s. But 1709 dated. 1727 with some fantastic fiery toning there. That is maybe one of my favorite individual jetons. I love the pine cone thunderbolts from the 1700s, but that's like a nice Louis the 15th. And you can really see Tresor Royale. I forget, I've seen that a bunch of times, but much younger portrait there. That's cool. I haven't seen that before. 1754 Marine. It shows a very interesting horse. Then I think we had one of those earlier, 1713, bit cleaned, unfortunately. Is that like some kind of... I think it's just a nice little die crack. And then our last Jeton here is going to be this 1743, again, right in the middle of that. I love that lightning bolt, though, striking the waters. Unfortunately, that one's X-mount, so it probably used to be in like jewelry or something like that. Great start on the older jetons. I'm interested, and then we're going to do this big pile of silver in back to get a closer look, because some of these look quite modern and others of these look like older. So like, let's take a look at this. Agents of Change in Paris. Beautiful octagonal jeton. That is awesome. The 9th year, ooh, and I feel like it's L Auguste or H Auguste, but it just says en neuf. The 9th year. That's when they redo the calendar system to only think about the regnal year, or regnal year is like the year of the reign of Napoleon Bonaparte. So this is actually an insanely cool silver jeton octagonal. This is way better than I would have thought. And right there it shows, let's see, that says argent. So I bought all of these as silver, and those look silver as well. It does look silver. This one, a bit later, 1862. Hier, I think that's like the 100 agents of change of the Bourse of Paris. I have to figure out what these are, but this is interesting. I mean, it's like and that one is dated to 1875 or 1879. I think 1875. But it's interesting, like different types of coins going later, and jetons and silver metals at different points in time. Just the style. These are definitely like slightly more modern styles. That one's interesting. I can't quite tell what it reads there. Daniel Dupuy. That's a famous engraver, Dupuy. So, like, this to me looks much more modern. Compagnie des Agents de Change. That, I think that says 1967, which is not great because I paid a good amount for these. But also, if it's a silver octagonal jeton and that engraver's type, I think that this is like a 1900s, but it's like a late 1900s, probably at this stage like 70 years old. Interesting silver. And here's another similar one behind it. I mean, they're cool. It's just a little bit not as cool as something, you know, like a coin of Napoleon. This is another little pile here, which all look the same. 1859, Société Générale. That's interesting. I wonder if that's the same Société Générale, because, I mean, it very well could be. Of credit, of industrial credit, of industrial and commercial credit. So it actually literally could be a Société, a Soc Gen Jeton, which that's like, I think, a large bank that still exists. I'm pretty sure I have some friends who are working there after college. Right here, in medio stat verum. Unclear when that is. 1866 it kind of looks like. And then here we have one from 1894. I love this. That kind of like text reminds me a lot of Augustus St. Gaudens. He would have been striking coins around this time. I'm not sure if it's in there. It even says Chapelain, but I think that it's like a Beaux-Arts style of kind of coins and engraving that would have been a lot more prominent during that year. Here it's just the 8th year, so that should go back to the earlier, you know, year of Napoleon. But that Beaux-Arts style, really interesting, and there's some great medals, including American medals, that follow it. Here's a Chamber of Commerce of Lille. This is like slightly more familiar to me. Very nice. Just good design, really like pretty flashy. Here's going to be this retro dated. This is definitely a modern strike to 1773, but of Louis the 15th. But let's see if we can. Oh, that's interesting. It looks like some kind of a metallic run of 300 of them. It's number 190 in it. But that's going to be a later strike. Interesting. Here we have a Conseil of Hygiene. Interesting. Oh, that's awesome. Olivier Roty. He's the same guy that engraves the precursor to the Walking Liberty $50 in the United States. Again, has that Beaux-Arts kind of metallic style, which is just fantastic. And this is a wonderful portrait down there, or wonderful view. And it says Society, maybe Books of Emulation of Commerce and Industry of the Seine. And what does that say? I mean, this is a beautiful, just nice fiery toning, large metal of the 1800s. That's interesting. When would that have been struck? Oh, similar Dupuy, probably early 1900s, late 1800s. This is an interesting mix here. That kind of looks like the Roti style as well, and it is incredible. Agents of Change of Paris. You even see the coins on the metal. Totally beautiful. 1898. Minister of Public Instruction. Smaller jeton there. Smaller metal. Let's see what these are and say. 1745. Jeton de la Madame la Dauphine. Though it feels like a more, 1800s restrike. This one, 1859. Fantastic. Alright, I've got to hurry up. Let me just go quickly through these for my favorite ones. Assurance, like insurance company, did a lot of jetons. That one's really cool. Again, the level of art on these is so nice. Just great toning on so many of them. There's another one of those I'm going to say 1967 silver medals, and it looks like we got maybe 4 of them, but that one says 1958, so maybe it was a design maybe there are different years. Another one of the Lille types. These look like much more modern. They don't have the You know, those could be like late 1900s, early 1900s to late 1800s. They could even be a more modern strike than that, though. Yeah, who knows? Let's see. I also want to see. I think that this is argent. It's like a horn countermark that I believe I've seen before. That one's another roti, probably 1894 or similar with the beehive. I think I saw one. There's a Louis the 18th who comes back 1806. I think he's either imprisoned by or like near Napoleon. I forget what the exact relationship is. And then another interesting industrial society of the north of France in Lille, and a Versailles 1872 Jeton, and we'll close it out with this Decret of 1848, Village of Paris, Comptoir National Descompte. Okay, sweet pile of Jetons. I think I did pretty well. I think these ones will be more of a mix. My guess, like with many, is that I'll lose on a couple of these. I think I'll be able to make some money as I go through and sell all the older Jetons. These ones will be a bit of a mixed bag. And then to close this hunt out, we have the large, and I really don't want to like put a big gash through all these coins, so I'm going to go slow with opening it, but these large crowns, and these really would have been, they're all to the same standard. They're all 90% silver. At least that's what I ordered. French. I've in the past gotten some from Peru, but they're mostly Belgian, French, and Italian, but they all were striking very similar in weight, metal composition coins on, I think it was called the Latin Monetary Union. Could be wrong there, and I'll just pour this pile out. Woo, we've got a lot of them. And it looks like there's a mix of types, which is awesome. If you saw the other video, it seems like, and I think it will be similar to that mix, though you never know what could pop up. Yeah, just big. This is like the equivalent of buying a bunch of Morgan dollars, except I'm doing it from a big mix of different French and overall European types. So let's see and just kind of go through. There was this other pile right here that I might start with, because why not? Ooh, nice. It looks like these might be like earlier ones. Let me just check. Yes, so that looks like it's going to be Leopold Premier, means first. Roi des Belges is king of the Belgians. And so he was the first king after they get their independence from the Netherlands in 1830. So you can see 49, and there's a couple different portraits here. Okay, not all of them. That one's going to be Louis Philippe, 1831, who he was, I think, he was like the last king of France, I'm almost positive. And he always says Roi des Français. If we have any earlier ones, it'll be like king of France, but that des Français actually means king of the French. So less of like a ruler, more of a citizen king. But again, here, that's a more like deified, in my opinion, strong. He has like a, take a look at this. I bet this one's later. Yeah, 1851. Here he has that crown, which makes him look more like a Roman king on the coins. It looks like a lot of similar types. Ooh, 1833. That's earlier. Super cool. So yeah, again, because he starts in 1830, and I'm not sure if that's, I think it's just like some wear. But that's great that we got one of the 1833 versions. 52. Let's see. Nice. Awesome. All right. We then, next stack is going to feature, okay, so Leopold, he takes over in 1865, and I think he is known, I think I've sold a lot of his coins before, and he actually had a lot of African human rights abuses as the Belgian sort of, or not, yeah, the Belgian like Congo, and I think there was a lot of bad things going on there. These are interesting because they say liberty, equality, and brotherhood. They don't feature a king because in 1848 they revolt. They use this design, but then Louis Napoleon, who becomes Napoleon III, takes back over France in 1852. So he squashes that rebellion. He's emperor for about another 18 years. They overthrow him and they bring back that just like, hey, we're not going to put a king on our coins. We're just going to put like Hercules on there. And so this is 1867. Here's one of those well-timed Napoleon III emperor, it says empereur. And that A right there means Paris. So A mint is going to be Paris. I think BB is Strasbourg, 1831. This is a Louis Philippe. And again, it says Roi des Français. Strasbourg is going to be like a contested region that goes back between Germany and France for a long time. I think today it's part of France. There's Leopold. Then we have some of the French stuff. Let's see. I'm only going to stop as we see new types here. 1872. I mean, there's a lot of pretty good looking coins. Very cool. Let's see. In this pile, we've got 5 Lear, 1869, Victorio Emmanuel. That's a nice, well-worn. Oh, and that makes sense. 1848. So this would have circulated for like another 25 years. This would have been very first year of that independence in the 1848 revolution. And there's that year, there's like revolutions all over Europe. So it's really cool to trace that. This is late Napoleon III. There's sometimes we get some Ceres types, which is like another like mythological goddess. 1831 that the French put on some of their coins. There is a Ceres type, very cool. That is 1851. So again, during that, hey, we haven't been taken back over by Napoleon III. We're gonna put a goddess on our coins while we are not being ruled by somebody else. So a couple stacks down. That one looks like it's in pretty nice condition. Let's see. It does look like it's been cleaned a little bit. Oh, I may have even forgot to mention Vittorio Emanuele II. He reigns from 1861 to 1878. And so he's the first king of a united Italy. So before there was a bunch of different Italian provinces. And so here's Louis Philippe again. Let's see what else we have. Another nice Ceres type. Those always have a little bit of a premium. And there's Victorio Emmanuel yet again. And so I think my guess... Oh, sweet. We got another Ceres type. My guess is that we're not going to get too many others. That's cool because this is late reign. 1848. That's the same year he would have stepped down as the throne. So, yeah, I think... I'm trying to think... Yes, that would have been revolution. I'm not sure how peaceful it was. Ooh, that's cool because this is his first year. Louis Napoleon Bonaparte. So he's establishing that connection. He's the nephew of Napoleon the Great. So first year. So we're really getting a great rundown of history. And then I do think that it's like Belgium takes control of the colony in 1908 as opposed to what they had going on before. This one's pretty worn down, 1830. I don't know what, is that like an O mint mark or 5 franc? It almost somehow looks different, and I feel like it would have been his first year in power. I'm trying to remember if there's another, like, because that says 5 francs. It almost looks like, maybe it's just a D mint mark, but like, that there's some other... Okay, I think that this is 5 francs, and that's probably just a D mint mark right there, right? I can't tell if there's other text there. That probably didn't sound very good on camera. And there's another Victor Emmanuel. All right, we're going to scroll through super quick and see 1844, nice. Another series type, 1850 in pretty decent shape, and an Italian one. Love it. 1839. This feels like it's been a really good hunt though, and I think it's been fun for me to go and research and remember a lot of the history on some of the more prominent of the kings here. I need to do more reading though about like 1848, and I was super interested in that Austrian succession. I really want to learn more about that 1700s phase in Europe. So yeah, very fascinating. Ooh, that one looks cool. Nice. We got an Umberto the First, 1879. He's going to be coming in after Emmanuel the Second. I think he reigns for a decent while in Italy. So pretty interesting. Let me see. That may be our only Umberto. Those are not as common, but great to find. There's another Louis Napoleon as Emperor, late reign, 1869. And then we've got one stack, and we are done. I'm going to be releasing this video as I'm probably starting a whatnot sale later on in the afternoon. I'm not sure if any of these coins will be in there, but I'm going to try to get them in the rotation coming up. And if you're also interested in like wholesale purchases of larger quantities of these, let me know, because I'm going to be buying more. So nice 1873, 1877. Oh, that's a later date. 1849, hopefully with the series type. And then it looks like Italy and France to close that one out. Really solid. Hunt, again, thank you so much for following along. I think my favorite is, I had no idea I was getting the Thunderbolt pine cones. So those are sweet. Hopefully won't saturate the American market too much with those. And I will see you on some of my upcoming unboxings, of which I'm sure there are many not long from now to follow. See you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to head on over to treasuretown.com and sign up for our email list to stay up to date on everything that's happening, whether it's auction updates, exciting new inventory drops, coin collecting news, or general informational resources. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on another one.